By Justice Mohale, Media Manager at Rand Water on the line. Thank you, Mr. Mohale. What does there could be limited water, may not run out mean? Should Joburg residents go and stock up on water right now or not?
Good evening to all your viewers. We would like to encourage people not to store water and not to panic. And then we say they must not store water because that is going to drain our system even more. And as a result, raising the water levels when the project has been completed, it's going to take some days. So this project came as a result of Rand Water having completed laying a 600 million rand investment project, construction of a pipeline, which will be assisting or adding 1,300 megaliters of raw water into our network. This pipeline, it's new and it's ready to be connected with the existing pipeline, which we call B11. So what we are going to do on from Monday morning, we are going to connect the two pipes. Remember, we abstract water from the Vaal Dam. So we have installed a new pipeline. So then we have to connect both pipelines so that we can get more raw water into our system.
Okay, so I understand this is necessary, you're saying, and you're asking Joburg residents not to stock up on water. But could the taps run dry in certain areas?
Yeah, no, there may be some problems when it comes to at municipal level. Let me tell you why I'm saying people must not panic. We keep on pumping. Even now, as I'm talking to you, we are pumping. Rand Water has 2 water purification plants. The biggest one is in Zekerbosch. That is the biggest one. It is not in any way going to be affected. The one that is going to be affected, it is Vereeniging pumping station. That is where we are going to implement this project. And again, we are not going to completely shut the water. There will be a certain amount of water that will be passing through. So that is why I'm saying, as I'm speaking to you now, we are still pumping. The biggest pumping station, it will be working as normal. That is why we are saying people should not panic and start stocking water.
All right. We know, however, even if the pressure goes down and then the pressure is restored to normal, sometimes we see burst pipes, things like that because of the infrastructure. Surely you can't rule that out once the water is up and running again.
Yeah, it's the cases of water, pipe burst, that is something else. But as I'm saying, now we have 2 purification plants, and the biggest one, it is not going to be affected. So as I'm speaking, we are purifying water. We'll be purifying water throughout. Okay. And that is why we are confident that we are going to pump as normal into our reservoirs, into our network, and from there into the municipalities, into our customers' networks. And we will keep on raising the water levels. There may be, certain areas, let's say high-lying areas, and again, it will be very minimal, as I'm saying. The biggest purification station belonging to Rand Water will be working, will not in any way be affected.
So you said the second one in Vereeniging will be affected. What sort of, how widespread is the area around Vereeniging that could be affected by that?
In Vereeniging, it's where we purify, it's the station. We abstract water from the Vaal Dam through the pipeline. And as I'm saying, we have installed a new pipeline. That pipeline will be channeling water, supplying water to our purification plant in Vereeniging. That is our second purification plant. That is the one that is going to be affected. And it's not the biggest. as I'm saying, the biggest is not going to be affected. So from there, after which, that's where we start supplying to our supply water to our networks, to our reservoirs, from there to the municipalities' reservoirs. During the time from Monday up to Wednesday, there will be purification going on, and water will be channeled into our networks and the municipalities' networks, and people will open their taps. There will be water. Maybe here and there, as I'm saying, some people in high-lying areas may be affected, but it does not mean that we are not going to purify water.
Mr. Mohale, I'm glad we're having this discussion, because what you're saying is different to some notifications that many residents, including me, are receiving from complex agents saying that a shutdown looms. So maybe this communication has to be clear. My final question for you, 54 hours, can you tell us categorically the water will be back to normal after 54 hours, 2.5 days?
Let me say, after 54 hours, we will say successfully we have implemented our project. Because as we said even in our statement, we don't foresee any major water supply shortages. As I'm saying, our biggest water purification plant in Zekerbosch, it's functioning as I'm speaking to you now. It's not going to be affected. It gets also abstracted water from the Valden. The one that we are going to work on, where we are going to connect the pipelines, it's Vereeniging water purification plant, which is smaller, by the way.
All right. Thank you very much, Justice Mohale. We have to leave it there. Media manager at Rand Water saying don't stock up. The disruption to water supply across Johannesburg and other parts should be limited. We take a short break.